They say sleep is the body's way of healing, a sacred process where the mind resets, the heart slows, and the body begins its quiet work of repair. But what if somewhere along the way that process breaks down? What if your nights no longer leave you feeling rested? If you're a senior over 65 and find yourself waking up foggy, groggy, or even more tired than before you went to bed, you're not alone. And no, it's not just getting older. It might be something far more subtle and fixable. In fact, what you eat in the final hour of your day might be quietly shaping the quality of your sleep, your memory, and even your heart health. Welcome to Elderly Reflections, where we explore life lessons from the elderly, timeless motivation, and the often overlooked wisdom that comes with age. If you're new here, I want to personally invite you to subscribe and let us know in the comments where you're watching from. Are you in the US? The US? Maybe somewhere in Europe? Or Canada? Wherever you are, your journey matters. Now let me take you on one of our most inspiring stories. Her name was Margaret, a retired school teacher from Oregon, 78 years old, sharp as a tack, or at least she used to be. Margaret had spent decades guiding young minds, but in recent years, her own had started to feel slower. She began forgetting birthdays, missing appointments, walking into rooms only to forget why she went there. Her doctor told her it was just normal aging, but Margaret had a different view. She believed in elderly wisdom, in listening closely to what her body was trying to say. She wasn't looking for a miracle, just a way to feel like herself again. So she made a small, quiet change. Not to her entire diet, not to her medications, just to the final thing she ate before she went to sleep. And that, she told me, changed everything. Let's start with what she added first. Walnuts. Now I know what you're thinking. Walnuts, aren't those just a snack? But these small, wrinkled little powerhouses are far more than that. For seniors, especially those over 65, walnuts are a gift from nature. They're packed with alpha-linolenic acid, ALA, a plant-based omega-3, that supports brain function and cardiovascular health. In fact, a study from UCLA found that seniors who regularly consumed walnuts scored significantly better on memory tests than those who didn't. And the reason goes deeper than just nutrient. Walnuts also help lower inflammation in the body. And inflammation, as we now know, is one of the root causes of many chronic diseases that affect older adults. From Alzheimer's to heart disease, high inflammation quietly chips away at your health. But just 6 to 8 walnut halves before bed can help calm the system and provide essential fats to the brain during the night, when it's doing its deepest repair work. Margaret told me her nightly walnut habit became more than just nutrition. It became a ritual. She'd sit by the window with a warm mug of chamomile tea and a small bowl of walnuts, gently reminding herself, I still care about this body. I'm still in this fight. That's elderly reflection at its finest. Self-compassion built into habit. Now let's shift from something crunchy to something sweet. Kiwi. That little green fruit you might have passed by 100 times in the store. It might just be your best friend in the fight for better sleep. Kiwi isn't just high in vitamin C or fiber. It's one of the few fruits directly studied for its impact on sleep quality, particularly in seniors. In a study published in the Asia-Pacific Journal of Clinical Nutrition, participants aged 60 and above who ate 2 kiwis 1 hour before bed fell asleep faster, stayed asleep longer, and experienced better sleep efficiency overall. And here's where it gets interesting. Kiwi also helps regulate serotonin, the brain chemical that controls your sleep-wake cycle. If you've ever struggled to fall asleep even when you're tired, or felt wired at night for no reason, that might be your serotonin speaking. Kiwi gently nudges your body back into balance. It doesn't force you to sleep, it invites you to. One man I met, Harold, 72 years old from New Jersey, shared a story I'll never forget. After losing his wife, he struggled with severe insomnia. He tried everything, melatonin, medications, even white noise, but nothing gave him peace. His daughter, a nutritionist, finally convinced him to try a nighttime routine. 2 kiwis, no screens, and 10 minutes of stretching before bed. By the end of the first week, he said he slept through the night for the first time in years. But more than that, he felt connected again, present, alive, and that to me is the kind of senior health story worth sharing. So we've covered walnuts. We've talked about kiwi. Let me introduce the third and possibly the most overlooked bedtime food for seniors: Greek yogurt. Now I get it, most people associate yogurt with breakfast. But for seniors, especially those concerned about memory, mobility, or blood pressure, Greek yogurt before bed might be one of the best kept secrets. Why? Because it's loaded with casein protein. a slow-digesting protein that feeds your muscles throughout the night. And after 60, muscle loss becomes a serious concern, not because of vanity, but because muscle is directly tied to balance, stability, and independence. Every fall prevented, every stair climbed safely begins with muscle support. But that's not all. Greek yogurt also delivers calcium, essential for producing melatonin, your body's natural sleep hormone. Many older adults have trouble sleeping simply because their calcium levels are too low. A half cup of Greek yogurt in the evening can gently correct that imbalance. Plus, it contains probiotics, those healthy gut bacteria that affect not just digestion, but brain function too. There's a saying in medicine, when the gut is happy, the brain is calm. Robert, a retired firefighter from Michigan, told me he began having Greek yogurt before bed, mixed with honey and crushed walnuts. He called it his nighttime armor. And within weeks, his sleep improved, his stiffness decreased, and he felt mentally sharper in the mornings. So if you're watching this and wondering whether small changes really make a difference, let Margaret, Harold, and Robert be your answer. Elderly reflections like theirs remind us, after 60, every choice matters just a little more. And taking care of yourself doesn't have to mean starting over. It can be as simple as a few walnuts, a kiwi, and a spoonful of Greek yogurt. It can be as sacred as a ritual, your way of saying, I'm still here, I'm still strong. If this message resonates with you, let me hear from you. What do you eat before bed? What will you try tonight? And most importantly, where are you watching from? Drop your country or state in the comments. I read every one. And if you believe in the power of elderly wisdom, life lessons that inspire, and creating a stronger future through small, thoughtful decisions, then like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell so you won't miss what's coming next. And if you believe in the power of elderly wisdom, life lessons, because in the upcoming segment we'll unveil 3 more transformative foods, one of which comes in a golden glass, passed down through ancient tradition and still holds incredible benefits today. Here on Elderly Reflections, we're building more than a channel. We're building a movement, a place for stories, quotes, health, and motivation for seniors who still believe in rising every day with purpose. Stay with us, certainly. Below is the second section. Before your video script titled, Best Foods for Seniors Before Sleep, written in long-form paragraph style, tailored for a natural American English narration, the tone remains warm, inspirational, and content-rich. Using keywords like senior health, elderly wisdom, elderly reflections, motivation, inspiration, life lessons from the elderly and senior. Designed for audio clarity, it flows smoothly without excessive paragraph breaks. Ideal for voiceover conversion. Now let me ask you this. When you think about what you eat at night, do you treat it like an afterthought? Something quick? Maybe even whatever's left in the fridge? Because for so many seniors I've spoken to, dinner is the last real meal of the day. And then comes the quiet part. The few hours before bed, where the television might be on, the house is silent, and you reach for something, chips, cookies, toast. But those final bites before sleep, they carry more weight than you think. In the opening section, we explored 3 powerful foods: walnuts, kiwi, and Greek yogurt, that work quietly through the night to support your heart, mind, and muscles. But there's more to discover, because the foods you choose before you close your eyes don't just affect how you sleep. They influence how you heal, how you age, and how alive you feel the next morning. So in this next chapter of our journey, let me take you a little deeper. Let's explore 3 more powerful bedtime foods, steeped in science, supported by elderly reflections, and rooted in traditions that honor the body's quiet work. And stay with me, because by the end, I'll share the true story of a woman named Joyce, whose memory improved dramatically from 1 warm cup each night. Let's begin with something ancient, golden, and deeply soothing. Turmeric milk. You might have heard it called golden milk, especially in Indian or Ayurvedic traditions. And while the name sounds trendy, the truth is this drink has been around for thousands of years. It's made from warm milk, dairy, or plant-based, mixed with turmeric and sometimes a pinch of black pepper and honey. But what makes this drink so powerful for seniors isn't just the comfort of warmth before bed. It's the turmeric. Turmeric contains curcumin, one of the most potent natural anti-inflammatories we know of. Chronic inflammation is like a silent fire in the body. It wears down joints, clouds the brain, raises blood pressure, and accelerates cognition. For seniors, reducing inflammation isn't just about comfort, it's about protection. In 2018, researchers at the American Journal of Geriatric Psychiatry conducted a study on adults aged 50 to 90 who took curcumin supplements over 18 months. The results were stunning. Improved memory, better attention span, and even a visible reduction in brain plaque associated with Alzheimer's. Now imagine giving your body that kind of support every night, gently, through a warm drink. That's what Joyce did. She was 81, living alone in the Devon countryside in the UK. Her evenings were quiet. Too quiet. She told me she began to feel foggy by 8 p.m., struggling to follow the plot of her favorite books. Her granddaughter, a nurse, suggested turmeric milk before bed. Joyce was skeptical but gave it a try. Half a teaspoon of turmeric in warm oat milk, a pinch of black pepper, and a drop of honey. She sipped it slowly every evening for 2 weeks. And then she said something I'll never forget. It felt like a curtain lifted in my mind. That's the kind of elderly wisdom we need to share. Now let's move to something sweeter, blueberries. These little berries may be small, but their impact on the aging brain is anything but. Blueberries are high in antioxidants, specifically anthocyanins, that protect the brain from oxidative stress. That's the damage caused by time, pollution, even everyday cellular breakdown. In a 2016 study at the University of Exeter, older adults who drank concentrated blueberry juice for 12 weeks showed significantly improved brain function, especially in areas linked to memory and planning. Seniors who consume just a small handful of blueberries regularly have been shown to maintain better verbal recall, improve decision-making, and lower risk of neurodegenerative disease. I met a man named Louis who shared his experience with me. He was 75, a retired mechanic from Kentucky. He began forgetting why he entered rooms, struggled with names, even misplaced tools in his own garage. He feared what many seniors fear, not death, but forgetting the people he loved. A friend introduced him to blueberries, and Louis began eating them every night before bed, sometimes mixed into Greek yogurt or blended into a smoothie. After 3 months, Louis wrote me a short letter that ended with this line: "I still forget things, but now I don't feel lost." That stayed with me, because food, when it's chosen with care, can bring us back to ourselves. If you're over 65 and want better clarity, skip the sugary desserts and reach for a small bowl of blueberries. Your brain will thank you, and your mornings might feel brighter. Now for something many seniors overlook: leafy greens, especially spinach. Now I know what you might be thinking: who wants to eat a salad before bed? But let me explain why spinach, in particular, might be the missing piece in your senior health routine. Spinach is rich in magnesium, a mineral responsible for over 300 enzymatic reactions in the body. Most importantly, it regulates blood pressure, supports steady heart rhythm, reduces anxiety, and promotes better sleep. Many seniors are magnesium deficient without realizing it. The symptoms: muscle cramps, restless legs, poor sleep, elevated nighttime blood pressure. But here's what most people don't know. Magnesium is best absorbed in the evening when your body is preparing for rest. That's why spinach at dinner or as a small bedtime snack is so powerful. A study in the Journal of Clinical Hypertension found that older adults who regularly consumed leafy greens had better blood flow, lower cardiovascular events, and improved nighttime recovery. I think of Maria, a 69-year-old woman born in Spain and now living in Arizona. At 65, she was told by her doctor that her blood pressure was rising and her calcium levels were low. She didn't want to start medication. Instead, she created a small nighttime habit: just a handful of baby spinach leaves with olive oil, lemon, and sliced avocado. She called it her green peace. 4 months later, her blood pressure returned to normal. Her sleep was deeper, and she told me something I'll never forget: "That salad gave me back my mornings." So now you have 6 foods to support your sleep, heart, and brain after 60. We've already talked about 3 powerful foods: walnuts, kiwi, and Greek yogurt. And today we added 3 more: turmeric milk, blueberries, and spinach. Each bite can be a message to your body: I still care about you. These aren't just snacks. They're signals. Signals that you're still choosing health, still choosing clarity, still choosing dignity. That's what Elderly Reflections is all about. Holding on to senior motivation, leaning into life lessons from the elderly, and trusting that even at 70, 80, or 90, your choices still matter. So tonight I invite you open your fridge or pantry and make one small choice. Maybe it's a golden glass of turmeric milk, maybe a few blueberries, maybe just a drizzle of olive oil over spinach. Let that be your moment of intention, because your body is still listening, your mind is still growing, and your evenings, they still have the power to heal. And if you're still watching, I want to know, where are you watching from? Drop it in the comments. I love reading your stories. If you found value in this, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell. Because next we're going to bring it all together. We'll talk about timing, rituals, common mistakes, and how these 6 foods can fit into your real life. Without stress, without overwhelm, because here on Elder Reflections, we believe that senior health is more than numbers on a chart. It's about feeling clear, feeling calm, and feeling alive. There's something almost sacred about the quiet of evening, especially as we age. The calls stop, the errands are done, and the world outside begins to soften. It's in that stillness, after the sun has faded and the lights grow dim, that your body starts its most important work. Not just sleep, but repair. Not just rest, but restoration. But the truth is, your body can only do that work if it's given the right tools. So far, we've uncovered 6 foods every senior should consider before sleep. Walnuts, kiwi, Greek yogurt, turmeric maui, blueberries, and spinach. Each of them offers something unique. Support for your brain, your heart, your sleep cycles, and your aging muscles. But now, in this last section, I want to take a deeper dive. Not into more food, but into how you use these foods. When you eat, what you avoid, and most importantly, why you make the choices you make. Because what I've learned after speaking with so many seniors across the US, Canada, and Europe is that the foods themselves are only part of the story. The bigger truth is that the way you approach your evenings, the habits, the rituals, the mindset, has just as much impact on your health as any supplement or medication. Let me tell you a story that brings this into focus. George was 82, a retired dentist from Vermont, the kind of man who quoted Shakespeare over coffee and still called people kid with a grin. But after his wife passed, George's world shifted. Evenings became heavy. He lost his appetite, skipped meals, and slowly stopped caring about the small things. He'd nibble on crackers, sip on ginger ale, sometimes just go to bed hungry. His daughter began to notice changes. He was waking up groggy, forgetting little things, and his blood pressure was spiking. When they ran tests, the doctors saw early signs of decline. That's when George's daughter, also a nurse, sat him down and said, "Dad, we're taking your evenings back." What she created wasn't complicated. At 8:30 every night, George would make a small tray. Just a few walnuts, half a cup of yogurt with blueberries, a warm glass of turmeric milk. He turned off the TV, sat near a lamp, called a friend, or wrote in his journal. Within weeks, things changed. He stopped waking up disoriented. His thoughts sharpened, and one morning he told his daughter, "My mind feels like a window just got cleaned." That's the power of ritual. That's elderly wisdom. That's what life lessons from the elderly are really about. Quiet choices, small victories. So how do you build this into your own life? First, timing. Your body needs time to digest and absorb nutrients before you sleep. Ideally, your last snack should be 1.5 to 2 hours before bedtime. If you sleep at 10:30 p.m., aim to finish eating by 8:30 or 9. This allows your body to shift focus from digestion to healing. Avoid eating right before bed. Not because of weight gain, but because digestion competes with brain function during sleep. When you give your body space, it repays you with clarity. A second portion. Many seniors make the mistake of thinking more is better, even with healthy food. But at night, you don't need energy. You need restoration. Keep your servings small and balanced. Think a tablespoon of walnuts, half a cup of Greek yogurt, a handful of blueberries, 1 kiwi, a cup of warm golden milk, a handful of spinach with olive oil. Rotate them, mix and match. You don't have to eat all 6 every night. Just pick 2 or 3. Let it be peaceful. Now let's talk about what not to eat. Processed snacks, chips, cookies, toast with jam. These foods spike blood sugar, raise cortisol, and interfere with melatonin. They might feel comforting, but they confuse your body's signals. Instead of preparing for rest, your system stays on alert. And that's when sleep gets shallow, your heart rate stays high, and your dreams turn into restless loops. Avoid heavy starches, salty snacks, and sugary desserts after 8 p.m. And be mindful of alcohol. A glass of wine might help you fall asleep faster, but it fragments deep sleep and raises your nighttime heart rate. Seniors who drink late in the evening often feel more fatigued the next day, and over time, alcohol can impact memory and increase dementia risk. If you enjoy a drink, have it earlier in the evening, not right before bed. Hydration also matters, but balance is key. Drinking too much water after 8 p.m. can lead to sleep interruptions and even increase the risk of nighttime falls, especially in seniors with blood pressure medications. Sip slowly. A small cup of herbal tea is fine, But if you're constantly getting up at night to use the restroom, consider reducing your fluid intake after dinner. Finally, and maybe most importantly, make it a ritual, not a diet, not a chore, a moment of care, a practice of peace. Turn off the noise, dim the lights, maybe play soft music. Prepare your snack with intention, sit quietly, reflect. Read a short quote or poem, maybe write down something you're grateful for. This isn't about being perfect, it's about reclaiming your nights. Because when your nights are calm, your mornings are strong. And if you're thinking it's too late to start, let me remind you of Eleanor, 86 years old, Minnesota. She started this bedtime food routine after watching our video last spring. Last week she emailed us and said, "For the first time in a decade, I'm sleeping with peace. And I remember my dreams again." That's not a miracle. That's nourishment. That's dignity. That's elder reflection, and it's never too late to begin. The truth is, seniors who sleep better, who reduce inflammation, feed their brain, and protect their heart, are more likely to stay independent, stay mobile, stay present. This isn't about vanity or chasing youth. It's about choosing presence over decline, peace over confusion, strength over surrender. So tonight, before you close your eyes, ask yourself, what did I give my body today? What did I feed my heart? What did I offer my mind? You don't have to overhaul your life. Just start with one food, maybe a bowl of yogurt or a warm glass of turmeric milk. Let that one step become a signal, a message. I'm still here, I still care. If this video spoke to you, if it reminded you of something you'd forgotten or inspired you to make a change, please let me know in the comments. And most importantly, tell me, where are you watching from? I want to know your story, your country, your journey. We're building something here, not just a YouTube channel, but a community of seniors, caretakers, and wisdom seekers who believe that health is still worth fighting for. So don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the Elderly Reflections channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss another moment of motivation, inspiration, or senior health tips. Because here, we believe that your age is not a limitation, it's a legacy. And how you care for yourself tonight just might change how you rise tomorrow. Here's to your heart, here's to your mind, and here's to the quiet, beautiful strength of being 65, 75, even 95, and still choosing to live with purpose.